Hello and welcome to this week's RubyShoes podcast, bringing you the very best of local entertainment across East Anglia each and every week. This week we talk to Nick Wells, who's manager of the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds, about their brand new season about to kick off. We also speak to the editor of a brand new events newsletter called Berry Juice. Then we round off by chatting about the recent developments which have been happening to a theatre by the coast. First, I caught up with manager at the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds, Nick Wells. Nick, it's so nice to put a face to a name. You know, you and I have spoken about the Apex so many times down the line, and now we can actually see each other just for the benefit of the podcast listeners today. Obviously, you're listening as we usually do, but Nick and I are chatting on Zoom, and it's a great technology to use, isn't it? So I can see your smiling face this morning. So thank you for joining us. Manager of the
Absolutely.
Theatre. And we wanted to talk about the Apex because it's nice to do a roundup. This time of year, it's always busy when you're a theatre manager, but particularly busy because you've got a new season about to kick off. There's always things going on. And I thought it'd be just nice to catch up with you and find out some of the highlights and things that are coming up at the Apex and plans that you've got for this year, Nick.
Hello, Steph. Yes, it's lovely. Yeah, lovely to see you, and thanks for having me. Yeah, it is manically busy actually, which is brilliant, and there are all sorts of highlights. I mean, some of the real highlights have sold out, unfortunately. So we've got people like Anton Dubet coming in, and Justin Hayward from the Moody Blues and stuff like that in the spring. But the tickets have gone for those, unfortunately. But there are loads of other things in the diary, and I think one of the things that makes the Apex sort of fly is just the real variety of what we've got going on. And so whether it's stand-up comedy or classical music or jazz or world music or folk or pop or authors and evenings with celebrities, there's so many different things going.
Just finishing this month, that you've had a comedy festival in Bury St Edmunds. We've been featuring that each week. We've talked to various acts and just sort of talked about what's coming up. So as part of Suffolk, the West is very good for their entertainment. You're absolutely right. You do really pack in a variety of things, don't you, over there?
Yes, absolutely, and there are so many fabulous venues around as well, and all with their own strengths and their own characteristics, and they all bring something different into the mix, and so it makes the West Suffolk an incredibly sort of vibrant and lively place. So we're all very lucky to be here, I think.
So you've told us about some of the things that are coming we can't book. Tell us some of the things we can book. I know they do fly off the shelves really quickly, so it's not your fault. It must be a delight when you are the theatre manager to know these things have sold out. But tell us some of the things, some of the highlights that we've got to look out for and jump onto.
Oh gosh, it's always really hard for me to sort of pick out highlights because genuinely I wouldn't be putting it in the programme if I didn't think it was going to be really good. So for me to then sort of dive in and pick a few things out is always really tricky. But well, gosh, where should I start? I've got some lovely things. Simon and Oscar from Ocean Colour Scene. They came last year, and they're coming back again. It was such a fabulous evening last year. So they're coming back. I think they were here in April, yes, we're really looking forward to their return visit. And on a similar vein, we've got the Blow Monkeys coming in, who are a band in the 80s. Jar Wobble from who was of course Public Image Limited, he's coming, and Lee John from Imagination is coming in June. So lots of sort of classic hits, which that should be a rather special evening. Then, if classical music, we've got Aurora Orchestra coming back. So they're real favourites of ours at the Apex, and they've made a real sort of thing of playing music by memory, which is almost unheard of for orchestras to do that. So they'll be playing Beethoven's Eroica Symphony by memory and talking about the piece as well, and their performances are always electric and fabulous. And the Czech National Symphony Orchestra are coming, and they'll be playing Beethoven's Emperor Piano Concerto. And again, to have a full symphony orchestra on stage is always a magical thing, but when it's in a venue as intimate and with a fabulous acoustic like the Apex, that's going to be pretty special. And then we're doing a production of magic flutes in the summer as well. So if I think that was probably the first opera I ever went to, and it's actually sort of an accessible opera, lovely tunes, great story, really sort of magical and fun and yeah, just great. So then we've got some great jazz. Claire Teal, the singer's coming
Oh,
in
lovely
May.
deal. Yes, she's
Oh, she's
just such a lovely
yeah.
person as well. When she's on stage and talking to the audience, you feel like she's your best friend, don't you?
Oh, she is. She's really, really wonderful. And I remember I met her, gosh, years and years and years ago, and I'd booked her to come and do a lunchtime concert for me. And I went to see her down playing in a small jazz club in Oxfordshire. I was visiting my parents, and I had a chat with her at the bar. And this is before she was really famous. And she said, Nick, I've just been invited to go on the Parky show. And of course, the moment she did that, it was her sort of career absolutely rocketed. But since then she's been a regular visitor here, and
She's
she's
still very down
great.
to earth, don't you find, when you do see her, even though she's been on the Parky show and she's really well known and, concerts worldwide,
Yeah.
she's still just Claire Teal when you talk to her. She's just lovely.
She's really, really lovely. And as you said, she just feels like she's your best mate, doesn't she? And no, she's great. And then we've got the Sid Lawrence Orchestra coming in with an evening of music of Glenn Miller. So that should be a sort of special and enjoyable evening. Lots of lovely folk music. So Kate Rusby's coming. Only a handful of tickets left for that. That's selling incredibly
That's
quickly.
not surprising. She's very popular, isn't she, Kate?
Oh, absolutely. And then we've got Moya Brennan coming from, who's, of course, Clannad. So she's coming to, I think she came here in one of our, quite a few years ago, actually. So great to have her back. And then Feast of Fiddles are coming back. They're sort of regular visitors to the Apex and have got a great following here. So, and then actually one thing I'm really looking forward to is we've got a show called Rush, a Jamaican journey, and it's essentially the story of the Windrush generation. And we did do this show quite a few years ago, and it was so engaging and brilliant and joyous and wonderful. When they said, "Well, do you fancy a return visit?" And I said, "Yeah, yes, please." And it's just lovely. It's a really enjoyable show, and it's full of humour. Of course, it's full of great music as well. So, all sorts of things coming up.
A big variety.
Excited.
You must love
Yeah.
that job. How long now have you been the manager at the Apex, Nick?
I've been here since it opened, really. So doing the programming and so we opened in 2010 and October 2010. So I know it's
3 years. That's incredible. I can't believe it's been that long, actually.
I know, it feels like 3 or 4, doesn't it? It's absolutely flown by. So, but it means we're having fun, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. And you get to meet all the great stars as well. And that must be so nice. Is there any particular person that you've met who's made a real impression on you? We just spoke obviously about Claire Teal, but and anybody else who's made a big impression on you?
Oh gosh, lots of people for all sorts of different reasons. And as I was thinking yesterday, one of my kids was walking around whistling a song by Suzanne Vega, and I thought, oh gosh, she came to the Apex. That was amazing. And then, of course, when Brian May came here quite a few years ago, that was just extraordinary. But we got some wonderful. I can't. There's so many people. It's been fascinating to meet, and actually, what's really nice is most of them have been really sort of down to earth and just just very few airs and graces, and just sort of getting on with the job really. But it's good. I feel very lucky and very privileged.
Well, from my side of things, whenever I talk to artists who are coming to the Apex or returning to the Apex, they always say what a lovely welcome they always get. They just said it's such a lovely theatre, it has a great atmosphere. The audiences are always so welcoming and the staff are fantastic as well. So you're doing it all right over there, Nick. So everyone's very impressed with you.
Oh, that's great to hear that. And we do get lots of lovely notes through from agents and musicians, and I sometimes think, oh, do they really mean it, or they just want another show? But actually, I think we do get a lot of those sort of messages. So I think we might be doing something right. So they keep coming back anyway.
To hear. So, Nick, how can people get hold of tickets? You've given us a good flavour of some of the shows coming up at the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds. But how's the best way people can find out about these shows and get their tickets?
Probably the best way is to go onto the website, which is www.theapex.co.uk. But you can also pop into the box office to pick up a brochure, or give the box office a call, which is it's a Bury number 01284 758 000. And there's opportunities to become an Apex member, which gives you priority booking for some of our more popular shows, and they don't have to pay booking fees if you're a member as well. So, but the Apex is probably the quickest, the website is the quickest and easiest way to go in and find out what's going on.
Fantastic, Nick. Always good to talk to you. Thank you for taking a break in your very, very busy schedule to talk to the RubyShoes podcast, and good luck with the new season.
Lovely. Thanks very much, Steph.
Next, I spoke with one half of a fabulously positive young couple who love the part of Suffolk they live in so much they've created their very own newsletter, which they toil over each week. Now, at RubyShoes Podcast, we like to bring you the very best of live entertainment across East Anglia every week. We're bringing you the week's best events, places to eat, live music, and things to do around Bury St Edmunds is a brand new service called Berry Juice. And I'm absolutely delighted to be joined by the founder, Keisha Cardy, this morning. Good morning, Keisha.
Good morning, Stephanie. Happy to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's absolutely fantastic. Tell me about the Berry Juice. It's a great name. How did it all come about?
So me and my husband, we live just outside of Bury and we love it. We are there most weekends and rain or shine. And we were often finding that we were doing the same things, which we still do. We absolutely love our routine that we do when we're in Bury, which is a walk around the Abbey Gardens and a drink at the same place. But we just knew there was so much to offer in Bury and we were often missing out. And we wondered whether other people were also missing out on these really exciting events. So we thought, let's put something together, because my husband is very good with all that sort of thing, the newsletters and all the tech stuff. I can't take credit for that side of things. So every week we kind of look what's going on. And then every Thursday morning, people will get an email for free, letting them know what's happening for the week.
And this is just in the inbox, which is brilliant. They don't have to do anything other than subscribe, and it appears in their inbox. So it's kind of like, this is what you can do for the next week if you want to.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a lovely idea. And you're right. Bury St Edmunds has so much to offer. I mean, we're really lucky in East Anglia that there are so many great places to go. As soon as you arrive, you're relaxed and, happy to be there, don't you think?
We do find this newsletter is just getting longer and longer with the amount of things Bury does have to offer.
Oh, definitely. And I think the Berry Juice as well, what's good about it is you're also focusing on things that are family friendly as well, aren't you? The sort of things that families can get to do.
Yes, so we have a little girl. She's only, just turned 15 months. So we still are yet to do a lot of the things on there. I put them on there and I think, I'd love to do that, but she's still a bit young. But it is kind of through that as well. I was finding that we were doing a lot of just walking, which is fine. But then I just stumbled across lovely cafe, The Joy Connection, which has so much going on for babies, often things for free. Because we do try to include things that are free and then some that you need tickets for. And there is just so much stuff going on for families, which is great.
I think that's brilliant and an amazing idea. And I take my hat off to you, having a baby so young and still being able to compile a newsletter and doing all the right things by getting out and about and, giving your baby lots of lovely fresh air. So well done to you. So how do people subscribe to the Berry Juice?
So they can go to the link. It's www.theberryjuice.com, and it's simple as that. And it will come up with, you just pop your email in and then you'll get your newsletter into your inbox every Thursday morning at 7 a.m, just in time for the weekend.
Oh, you see, that's perfect and very organised as well at 7 a.m. That'll be the influence, won't it?
Definitely.
He's the one doing all the technicals, as you say. Well, good luck with it. I think it's a fantastic idea. I'm sure the Bury Tourist Board are also very happy with you because you're spreading the word. And I think you're right. If you're passionate about where you live, it makes it a joy to do something like this. We certainly love doing the RubyShoes podcast, and it's been fantastic to talk to you and help to promote what you're doing because I think it's brilliant. Do you think? If you're ever likely to move, are you going to do a juice for another area, or are you very much put your roots in Bury St Edmunds now?
Well, I am very loyal to Bury, I must say, but across Suffolk there is so much going on in East Anglia. So who knows? Maybe there'll be all sorts of newsletters we do elsewhere. But for now, we'll stick with Bury. We're loyal to Bury at the moment.
Wonderful stuff. Lovely to talk to you, Keisha, and good luck
Thank
with
you.
Berry Juice. And just remind us again of that website.
It's www.theberryjuice.com.
My thanks to Keisha Cardy from The Berry Juice there. Now, last week, just as we were already reeling from the news that one of the greatest BBC presenters, Steve Wright, had suddenly left us, we lost another of our great entertainers, who not only was born and bred in Ipswich, but always hugely proud to return to Suffolk to help any local causes who needed a boost. The kindest, sweetest person who sadly died way too soon at the age of just 44, Robin Windsor of Strictly Come Dancing fame, began his dancing at the Ipswich School of Dance. And here's just a snippet from the very last interview I did with Robin.
Now, originally from Suffolk, you studied at Coppleston. Did you dance at one of the local dance schools to start with? Did you start off at, say, Ipswich School of Dance or somewhere like that?
Yes, I did. I came from the Ipswich School of Dancing, which used to be on Museum Street, and then had to transfer to Bond Street. And I owe everything of my dance abilities to everybody at that dance school who taught me when I was younger. Because the foundation is my dancing is what made me who I am today.
I know people in Suffolk are very proud to say that, you came from Ipswich and everything. What about your friends and family at the time? Were they very supportive of you doing the dancing, or were you a bit of a Billy Elliot of the time?
A little bit. I would, rather than go out and play with all friends out in the streets after school, I'd be at the dance studio rehearsing every single night. And I was never pushed into it. It was something I wanted to do. I loved moving to music.
Tell me 3 things you can't live without.
Fake tan, my dog, and my other half.
Wonderful. Tell me something no one knows about you. Now, probably close friends and family know this, but the public, the audience, wouldn't necessarily know this about Robin Windsor.
I can play tennis.
You can play tennis?
Yes.
And are you good at it?
Quite well. Quite good.
Fantastic.
I used to be quite good. I'm not sure how it happens there nowadays.
It's a bit like dancing, though, isn't it? You've got to give your all to be any good at it, and you can't do that with 2 things. So tell me a kind of embarrassing moment, perhaps during your time on Strictly, or, when you were dancing with the Burn the Floor show.
Wearing white trousers for the finale, splitting them and having red underwear on underneath, which were instructed that we had to be wearing white underwear, and you can imagine what happened.
Was this in Strictly?
No, this was on Burn the Floor.
Oh, I see. And why were you wearing red underwear?
Because when you're on tour, living out a suitcase, and I was out of white underwear, so I had to put clean ones on. The only clean ones I had were red.
Robin Windsor there. I hope they have plenty of sparkle and polished dance floors up there in heaven for you, my lovely friend. Now, finally, this week, we've been chatting to Des Reynolds. He's the assistant manager at the Seagull Theatre in Lowestoft, and they're celebrating some huge changes. The Seagull in Pakefield, Lowestoft has been going through an extensive programme of refurbishment and extension to bring their facilities up to date. And to tell us more is assistant manager Des Reynolds. Des, tell us about the Seagull Theatre. It's all very exciting, isn't it? You've worked very hard there.
Yes, we're really pleased with what we've been able to achieve. The Seagull is a not-for-profit community venue that's operated in the town for a large number of years. The theatre was originally set up back in 1973, but was a local authority-run provision for a lot of years. And sadly, like a lot of those provisions, was closed down through lack of money from the council back in 2005. And part of our history is that we were born of a large community campaign to save our building, and that has always sort of shaped who we are, because since we reopened in 2007, we're very much a community-based, community led and community managed organisation, and we're here to sort of meet the needs of what is quite a deprived community here in Lowestoft. We have some social and economic issues that are sort of well embedded and well recognised, and part of our remit is to use the arts and use theatre and use the wonderful sort of well-being benefits of all of the things that we do in the arts to help boost our economy and help boost our community. And the work that we've been doing in the last sort of 15 years has sort of built on that.
Tell us about some of those works that you have been doing.
Sadly, we inherited a Victorian school building that is, has its challenges, and we needed to do a lot of work to improve that. And over the years, we've picked off small pieces one at a time, but we've been very fortunate this time around in the last 18 months to have a big cash investment from two different sources, from the Arts Council and from the Youth Investment Fund, which is government money, which has allowed us to really transform our building. So we have a brand new workshop that we've built on the back of the building. We have a brand new lift, which means for the first time ever, our upper stories are accessible to people with limited mobility. We have brand new box office facilities, which again now are fully accessible. A brand new toilet suite, which again now has accessible toilets. We've been able to overhaul the accessibility throughout the building, and then we've been able to completely renovate and expand our auditorium. So we were a 112-seat black box auditorium. We're now got brand new seating and gone up to 146 seats, which again includes 2 rows of fully accessible seating at the front, which means that we can cater so much more for the more vulnerable members of our community.
Oh, that's brilliant. And I mean, they're pretty substantial changes, aren't they? You must be absolutely delighted, you and all the staff there at the Seagull Theatre. What sort of things are coming up that you're going to be able to put on now for audiences because of your extension and because of all these, the work that's been going on?
Yeah, well, it's really freed us up to do a lot more of the community work that we really celebrate. So we have been able to expand. We have a strand of support activities for people living with dementia, which we've been able to expand and put into a new suite. We have a new creative scrapbooking group that uses the new workshop. We've been able to expand our work with adults living with learning disabilities, and we've got a new workshop group of people operating in our new workshop, being able to build sets and put on their own shows, which is really exciting. It also means that the auditorium has been opened up for larger shows, so we've got a whole packed programme between now and August of our current season of some larger shows, but also it means that we're able to have more tickets sold for shows, which makes us more viable and helps with our long-term sustainability. So this Sunday we have our first sold-out show in the new auditorium, which means that, whereas before we were selling 100 seats, we've now got 146 paying customers coming in to enjoy our Heritage Shanty Choir, which is another element of our community provision that we run. So it's a really big boost for us. It improves not just our accessibility and our inclusion, but it boosts our sustainability long term.
So, Des, if people are listening to RubyShoes podcast now and they're thinking that's so good, and I haven't been to Seagull Theatre either before or for ages, I'd love to go and see the new works done. What's a good thing for them to come and see and help support you? What could they buy for?
So I think if you're a drama fan, then we've got some really interesting new productions that have been developed in-house based on the history of Lowestoft. Back in March, we've got Tuttle's Tales coming up, which is an entirely new audiovisual piece that's been generated around the history of a department store in town. There's a lot of the Lowestoft history. Again, if you're looking for drama, we've got a really good touring production on the 21st of March called Fat Chance, which is about addressing addressing some of those issues around diet culture and disordered eating and how those affect young women in our society. Really meaty drama-based shows. If you're a family, though, if you come to us in April, we have our very successful team that create an early years pantomime every year. We're doing an early years Easter show this year. It's pirate themed, really suitable for very young children. We go as young as 2 years old, right the way up to sort of 8 years old. It's a really popular first experience of theatre for very young children. That will be on the 11th to 13th of April, and it is well worth a look. If music is more your thing, we've got coming up in March, and towards the end of March, we've got a night at the musicals coming, which are again really popular if you're into your West End musicals. If you're into the 70s rock, we've got Lead Free, which is a Led Zeppelin tribute band, coming on the 20th of April as well. Interestingly, if you are a TikTok fan, you may have come across James Partridge, who basically does a very successful TikTok account looking at school assemblies and some of those songs we used to sing in school assemblies and those sort of folky tunes that we all remember from our school days. He's with us on the 9th of March, selling really well, so you need to get in quick for that one. But he's been proven extremely popular, and we're really looking forward to him coming and seeing us on the 9th of March.
So how do we get hold of tickets? The all-important question, Des.
Absolutely. So you can go online to www.theseagull.co.uk, and it's all linked straight off of the front page there. Or you can give us a call. We've got very friendly box office staff, 01502 589 726.
Now, if you'd like us to come and visit your show, or perhaps come onto the RubyShoes podcast and talk about a performance that you've got coming up, do get in touch with us via our socials at RubyShoes Podcast. Let us know a little bit about you, and we could well be chatting to you on a future episode. You can always listen again to any of the RubyShoes podcasts via Apple or Spotify or your smart speaker, or just by simply clicking on the weekly podcast links on our Facebook page. Follow us too for the latest entertainment news. I'm Steph McIntyre. Thanks for listening, and we'll chat more about live theatre and all kinds of entertainment in next week's episode. In the meantime, do check out our socials at RubyShoes Podcast. Have a great week.